Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are being lazy and we're gonna do another palette tag. So I just randomly wanted to film something, but I'm running out of energy and I'm running out of brain power, so I was going to do a tag. So I saw another palette tag pop up when I just searched makeup tags because, you know, I don't have any friends who want to tag me in it. And we're just gonna jump into it. So the first question is my first palette ever. And the first palette I can remember buying, there's actually two, and I think I bought them on the same day. One was the Urban Decay Black palette. I'm gonna post both of them up in the corner here. So the Urban Decay Black palette was 6 shades, and it was 6 shades of just like black, dark green black, dark purple black, dark blue black, because of course that's the first ever eyeshadow palette you would buy. I think like a day or so before or on the same day I also bought one of the Sephora box palettes that's like a million shadows in one, and I used to use, I'm gonna see if I can find the exact one. I think it was probably in like, I want to say like 2009, 2010, so like quite a few years ago. I don't have either one of these palettes anymore, but I used to use the light lilac and the light blue every single day. Like I used the entire pan of both of those shades with bright blue eyeliner. And I'm not talking like just a little eyeliner, I'm talking big royal blue wings. I am sad to say I don't think I have any pictures of when I used to do this, but maybe one day I'm going to do that video of how I used to do my makeup and I will recreate that for you. Truth be told, if I could rebuy that MAC Royal Wink eyeliner, I would. Shit, goddamn, my hair is annoying. This is where we're at as a 33-year-old. There. If I could just put my hair away from touching my face forever, I would. Like if I could just be like, and just shave the whole front of it, I'd be so happy. Like I would be happy with a mullet, I think. The second question is, what is your most recent palette purchase? And I actually have a few. So my most recent is actually the Anastasia Beverly Hills Alyssa Edwards, and I'm wearing the shade Ho in my crease from it today. I don't know if that's actually what it's called. It's H-O-E, but like to me, it's Ho. So I haven't had time to really play with this too much. I've only swatched it a little bit, so I don't have any true opinions. However, I really like Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes, so I would be super surprised if anything was going sideways with this. I even like Subculture, which I know basically makes me Satan, but it's just the truth. So I did purchase this one. The other one I did pick up is the Mini Lila palette, which a lot of people didn't really like. I picked this up in the Sephora summer sale. It was $15 Canadian, which I thought was a pretty good deal. And I used it the other day and I really liked it. I actually like this better than the full-size Lila, which is sitting over there in my cubes, unhappily not being touched. And my third one was also picked up in the summer sale, and this is the Natasha Denona Safari palette. I did get it with the shade Tribe Broken, which I have repressed right there. I was a little disappointed. That was actually the first time I've gotten anything from Sephora with a broken shade. This one I haven't played with too much either. I got this and then left for Calgary almost immediately after and didn't want to take it with me because the shade was broken. But so far what I've tried, I've used a lot of the blue shades and the green shades from the top, and I do like it so far. Can't lie, I also bought that one because it was on sale. I don't think I would have bought it otherwise, which means I probably shouldn't have bought it at all. Question number 3. Palettes I regret missing out on. I actually did a whole video on this with Kaylee Baute a little while ago. One of the palettes that I really wish I had gotten my hands on was the Moschino Teddy Bear palette. It was either last year or the year before. For the most part though, there aren't a lot of palettes that I regret missing out on. I do every so often get pangs to have wanted to buy the Blood Sugar palette from Jeffree Star. But with everything that's gone on with like him and just drama in general, I don't really talk about him on my channel because I can't be bothered to get into the drama. So that one kind of makes me a little bit that I didn't get, but it's still available and I could pick it up if I wanted to. I'm trying to think of what else. Since that video, I have like not wanted to regret anything. So if there's something I really want, I just buy it. That's not good habits either. I may or may not have a problem. Actually, there is one that I do regret missing out on, but I don't know what it's called. It's one of the Pat McGrath Mothership palettes. I will put it up here when I find it. It was no longer available when I started to get into Pat McGrath and I started to actually find out more about her and her brand and started trying out things from her. So that one I will put up here, but I don't know what it's called. It just popped into my head right now. Number 4, a palette that just makes me happy to look at, and this is super lame, but it's actually the Moschino, and I keep calling it Moschino because I want to say Moschino plus Sephora, so I just word smash them together, but it's definitely this laptop palette because it's just hella cute and it makes me happy. Like, it is literally got a color switch in it as a mouse pad, and I've played around with this a lot, and I do really like it, and it just is so cute. And my husband is a little bit of a dummy. He asked me for a laptop, and as a joke, I handed this to him, and he actually opened it and was like, wait, what? He actually opened it, expecting it to be a laptop. But I guess if you are expecting to be handed a laptop and you're handed something that looks like one, I guess I can't blame him that much. So definitely this one. I have a couple that are going to be in multiple categories in this tag. Another one that makes me happy to look at is the Game of Thrones palette because, like, really, it has an Iron Throne. And that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. A lot of people get annoyed with packaging like this. I like special edition packaging. I have a lot of display pieces around my office, and I like it. They make me happy. Game of Thrones was a part of my life for 8 years. I was very involved in a lot of the conspiracy theories in the show, and when it ended the way it did, I'm not going to spoil anything, but almost would have rather this Starbucks cup to have been the end game on the throne. It would have made more sense to me. At least it would have been funny. But I really love the show, so I really love this, and it makes me happy that to kind of commemorate the end of the show, which was a big hobby of mine for a long time, I did have the opportunity to also commemorate it with a makeup release, which I also love a great deal. Number 5 is a palette I have changed my mind about. So I had a tough time with this one because I didn't really know what I wanted to talk about, and I still don't really. I'm sure there are palettes that I have changed my mind about. Actually, there is. It, again, just popped into my mind. I've been sitting here kind of, I try with palette tags like this when it's stuff you should really think about, and if it's stuff I have to grab out, to kind of sit and think about it before I do it. But I never thought of this one until right now. So it's actually my Natasha Denona 28 shade purple blue palette. And I have wavered back and forth on this palette 1,000 times. So if I had to say there was a palette that I have gone back and forth on or changed my mind about, it's definitely this one, because I bought it and loved it, then I didn't really like it, then I did, then I didn't, then I did, then I didn't. I don't know if it's something with the chemistry of my eyes, but when I use this, sometimes it looks amazing. When I use it other times, it looks like shit. You can tell I've definitely used it. It's probably one of those palettes in my collection that looks used because I am very easy on my stuff. But that being said, I really, for like a year, didn't even touch it because I was so done with its shit. It just wasn't working the way I wanted it to. And then the other day I grabbed it out and I have been using it on and off probably about 10 times recently with a lot of these shades in here, like the more neutral colors, and I've really been liking it. I've been liking it enough to actually leave it out on my vanity, so it's been sitting out, and I've been digging it. So if I had to say which one I changed my mind about, I've changed my mind about that one about 100 times. Question number 6 is what was the one that was the biggest surprise. So I'm gonna look at this in 2 ways. One is just palettes that I didn't really think anything of, got my hands on and really liked it, and there's other ones that I thought were gonna be shit, which were good, and then there's ones that I thought were gonna be good but were not good. So the first one is the one I thought was gonna be good. A lot of people were raving about. I was really surprised when I got it that I didn't like it, and that is the Ciate Glitter Storm. And it's this one here. So it's a little bit hard to see, but mine does not sit well in the pan. The pan is actually peeling up. Like, you can see it popping itself out, which I don't like. It seems very cheap to me. The quality of the shadows are not good. They're very dry. They touch on my skin, on my eyes. I really don't like it. And the shimmers are just really nothing to write home to mom about. But I bought this on the recommendation of about 100 other people on YouTube. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I also kind of got stuck by the packaging. The packaging is definitely beautiful on the outside, but the inside just really left a lot to be desired for me, so I was kind of surprised about that. And this is my negative surprise palette. So these three guys are all from the same line. I did actually think not much of them when I first saw them come out. I was kind of like, meh, I wasn't really bothered by it. They weren't easily accessible for me, so I didn't really bother with them or try and get them. And that is the Dose of Colors 5-pan series. So I have Sassy Siennas, Marvelous Mauves, and Blushing Berries, which is this guy here. And I really didn't pay any attention to these at all. I was just kind of like, meh, whatever. Like, they're all the same kind of shades, same color stories as itself, like no big deal. I had one of my mom's friends actually brought me home Blushing Berries, and I did lose the dark shade out of this one. It fell out on me because it hates me. But damn, I was using this constantly. So then when I went to New York, I picked up these two, and same thing. I use these all the time. They're so great. The Marvelous Mauves, I definitely use the second most out of the three of them, and then Sassy Siennas is the last one, which looks like this. But they don't look like much, but they really work, and they work really well. They blend really well together. They all work together well. Like, I have absolutely no complaints about these, and I'm a little sad I was so late to the game on them because damn, girl, damn. You ever want to have lazy makeup days but still look like a bomb-ass bitch? Okay, and the last one is a palette that I actually didn't really, again, think much of. I saw it. It was really on sale at Ricky's NYC when I was there, and I was like, man, I'm going to buy this because it's... it is a Dose of Colors palette, and I wanted to try out a little bit more of their stuff. It was totally one of those scenarios where I was buying something to talk shit about it. I expected it not to be good, and it's actually fantastic, and that is the colored, I think I called it Dose of Colors, but I definitely meant Colored Rain. And it is the Berry Cute palette. So you look at this and you don't really think much of it, but the looks that I come up with from this palette are very beautiful. They work very well together, these shades. It's curated well, but you would never think that to look at it. Like, there is a steely blue and a burnt orange, and you're like, what? But when I use this palette, I always go away happy, so I was pleasantly surprised with how this worked out, and I did get it for 50% off, so I basically bought a palette that was on sale in a clearance rack thinking it was going to be a piece of shit, and it was a bomb-ass palette. Love when that happens. Surprise! Number 7 is the palette that inspires me the most, and this is a super tough one for me because I don't really feel like any palette inspires me any more than another one. So for me, any palette that has multiple colors in it or multiple brights in it are really up my alley. I pulled nothing for this category because I don't feel like any one thing inspires me more than another. If I was to say something that did inspire me, it is definitely more like single like glitters, single Jelly Much shadows, the Super Shock shadows, a lot of the ColourPop lines, the Stila glitters, the liquid glitters. Why am I having a brain fart on what they're called? Like, these are the type of things that actually inspire me to do anything outside my comfort zone, which is very big in general. But yeah, truthfully, no specific palette inspires me to do one thing or another. There's lots that I reach for more than others, but truthfully, I don't believe that's driven by inspiration. It's driven by laziness, and it's driven by comfortability. I just know that if I get it, it's gonna work out really well if I use that specific palette. Number 8 is my no-fail palette, and truthfully, I have to say my no-fail palette is the Modern Renaissance, and as you can see, it's definitely one that has been loved up a lot, especially for me. If you've been here before and you've seen my palette collections, a lot of my stuff almost looks untouched because I use a very gentle hand, and I move through my palettes a lot, and there's over 200 of them, so I don't hit pan on a lot. This is probably one of maybe 3 palettes I have any pan on, and I have pan in 2 shades in this. This is one of those no-fail palettes for sure. And as I said about the inspiring palettes and the ones I reach for the most because I'm the most inspired. Like, these are my lazy palettes. This is a lazy palette for me. I reach for this when I know I need a look. I need one quickly that is going to work well. I would say the same about the Blushing Berries from Dose of Colors. The same color story, works well with my eye color and works well with my skin tone and how I like to do my makeup when I'm in a hurry. So I would definitely say that this is my no fail palette. And the last question is what is currently on my wish list. And I'm just going to pull up my Sephora wish list as we speak. So I know I'm really interested in the ColourPop Blue Moon palette. Jeffree Star actually just released his new summer line, which is a palette full of neons. I believe it's called the Jawbreaker and the Mini Jawbreaker. Those are definitely on my list, but let me actually look at my Sephora loves list so I can tell this to you in the most accurate way possible. So I have in my loves list currently, as palettes go, I have the Jouer Cosmetics Tan Lines Matte Shimmer and Luxe Foil Eyeshadow Palette, the Melt Cosmetics Smoke Sessions, the Jouer Cosmetics Rose Gold Eyeshadow Palette. Oh, there's a bunch of stuff in here I don't actually want or love. And not as many palettes as you would think. I'm getting pretty far down. The Charlotte Tilbury Luxury Eyeshadow Quad in Rebel Green and Rose Gold, which is actually very beautiful. I don't remember putting that on there, but sometimes nighttime me does things that daytime me would never do. And daytime me rarely regrets it. I also am a little bit interested in Aether Beauty's Crystal Grid Gemstone Eyeshadow Palette. It's one of those clean beauty brands. It's got very high ratings, so I'm kind of interested in seeing how that would actually look on the skin and on the eye while it's being used as opposed to swatched. I haven't seen a ton of stuff about it. And I also, oh, this is another one I regret buying, or I regret not buying, but I haven't bought it because I have Visart Minis and they make me a little about the application of the shadows, and they're so soft I've broken both of them. And this is the Visart Grand Pro Volume 2 eyeshadow palette. It's $230. I have spent money on palettes. As you can see by a lot of the stuff I talk about, I am not afraid to blow my balls out on makeup, which is a horrible habit. Don't do it. But something about this really stops me from buying it. It is like a vibrant but also neutral palette. Emily Noel has spoken about it before and really likes it, but for some reason I just can't pull the trigger on this one. Even through the sales, I have a really hard time pulling the trigger through it. So it's on my wish list, but it's also on my missed out on for sure. Most of the rest of these guys are stuff I've already bought, so it doesn't even count. Alright guys, I tag everyone who loves palettes to do this video. I love eyeshadow. It's definitely my first choice of makeup item. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe before you go. If you like this look, I did do a get ready with me earlier on, and I will make sure that is listed down below and listed up here for your viewing pleasure. Thanks so much for watching and have a wonderful week.